is where the pit's going down. You know, a rabbit tractor. I'm probably going to build another one this year. Pit's getting carved out. You see how that's pretty much going. And then once I get the walls up high and it dug out deep, I'm going to build the frame. Put the greenhouse plastic on. Figure all that out. Make it simple. Another compost pile. Wood. Here's where the pond's going. You see that mound back there is where the waterfall is going to be. And then I'm going to have a pond liner in there. And all of the life that comes with a pond. And cutting streams wherever and everywhere I can when I get to it. The big priority is getting the pond in. And then having all that water there. And then work on streams and stuff. This little baby. They all just jumping out from like inside there. They don't get out over this fencing here out here. But I'll probably secure it a little better. Perhaps. I kind of like it. There's a few of them. Just a few. Just 3 that get out and run the yard here. I might put custom charms on their feet so I can know them from the others. They're unique. They're adventurous. And they're feisty, right? So like they're looking for fighting for bugs where they can't get them inside their coop area. They're coming out here. And these 3 are under the deck now. What I'm thinking too is I may section it off right there to there and grow food in the back half of this area. I don't think I need it all for the chickens, and I could utilize the other space back there for growing something. So that's another thing I'm thinking. I got cannabis that I got to get into this year. At least 6 of them. At least. I was thinking maybe why not all 12, but that's a lot of space it takes. And it shades area. And I don't need that many out here. And the seeds are a little pricey, and it'd be cool to maybe save the seeds, the other half of the order I place for next year and for this winter's growing season. Figured you want to see this. Beans coming up, bush beans, a couple different types, Kentucky Dreamer, and then there's this purple TP, I think that's what it's called. And so they're all right here. And then this is basils, more, a few of them left. And then over here is some more of the bush beans. I'm going to be putting them inside. I'm cutting the pit and I'm working on the pond. I'm going to try to have the pond done and cut today so I can get the pond liner. It's a big task, right? A lot of digging. But I'm cut for it so I can get the pond liner cut and in place. And then I can start pumping water in there and really get a feel for how I'm going to build the waterfall. Zucchini out here. It's flowered. I think just one flower so far. If I can identify that correctly, I think that is a male flower. I may be wrong. I'm going to double check. But what I do know is that the male flower and the female flower are on the same plant. So you grab the pollen from the male flower and you dust it onto, brush it onto the female flower, and then that pollinates and sets the fruit for this thing to start fruiting for me. Over here I put cucumbers, more cucumbers down in these pots along the back of the pot, and they're going to grow up on this trellis just like this one here is. And then I'm setting up another trellis and another trellis because I have more cucumbers down here that need to climb. Right now I'm working on 3 main things, which are cutting the pond to get the pond line, get the pond built, get ducks eventually, but not yet. Just get it done first. And then the greenhouse, which is a pit that's being dug out, and then that's going to get framed, and the plastic. So the pit I'm excited about for many reasons. A big thing about it is that it's going to be very, very inexpensive. 40 bucks, 50 bucks in like plastic and some screws. That's pretty much it. Recycled pallet wood. The pit dug out is kind of like a frame having the walls of dirt. So it's going to also get me through the winter being really warm and kind of sunken in ground. So that's really exciting about it. The front yard, I'm ripping up the beds and I'm turning them and getting the soil amended to put food through the front yard. That's another thing I'm doing this year. So a lot of work to do out there. So that's 3 main projects that I'm working on, all to get done before or right around the time that I start planting my first crops for the spring sowing. I plan on going with the no-till method going forward with the garden beds to keep the biodiverse microorganisms and all that stuff in place and not disturb them, rip them up. This last year I actually tilled because it was like my first year getting the soils ready, and I wanted to mix in compost and other organic matter and stuff. And I may do it still with a few beds areas this year and turn some stuff into the soil just to help to add to the base of the soil and get it rich. But after this year, I'm not going to at all with any of the beds that I've prepped out this year. If I make new beds, I probably will just that first year till and turn the soil real good. What I'm going to do is just continue to add compost and mulch on the surface of the soil and let it break down that way. And when I go to start seeds, what I'll do is I'll just scruff up the first inch of soil so that it gives me a nice fluffy little layer there at the top to plant the seedlings to start. And that's not really damaging to the soil's integrity deep down where the roots are going to go and all that. It's just enough to give me fluffy soil to start these seeds. Babies, look at this. So this is my grow room. I got my cannabis buddy, but I moved this mama in here. This is my first New Zealand mama, and she last night during the night she must have had these babies. And now I'm about to feed her some of these greens because she's a hungry mama. And I'll feed her up good. And then I'm going to get some more pellets, some more chips for her. Call them chips. Feed her chips. And then water. I got to fill up her little water bowl. I'm gonna look in there and see. This is like, I've had her for a little while now, maybe like 6 months. This is like seriously like the 6th litter she's had. She's very prolific and very good mama, and hopefully she doesn't bug me while I'm searching through her nest here. Oh my gosh, look at the pinkies. Look at those pinkies, mama. Wow, don't bite me while I'm checking them out, please. I just want to see how many. I know it's warm in here, they're gonna be just fine. Wow, there's like 80 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe like 8. I don't want to disturb them too much. Whoa, wait a minute. There's 80 of them over there too. Yeah, beautiful. I don't know, it's looking something like 9 or 10 maybe. But I'm just gonna tuck them in and leave them there. They're still really little, and I'm not gonna disturb them too much. I've gotta let mama be and let her grow her babies. Beautiful. Here, I am starting more seeds. I'm starting 5 different things for the leaves and the greens in this method of mine where it's like a no waste seed starting method. In here I have my soil mix, and I also have a thin layer, it's like a 1/4 inch of coconut core fiber on the top. So there's real fertile soil underneath, and then it's got a thin layer to start the seeds in. It's real fine stuff that these seeds should have a better chance of germination when I go ahead and lay these out to sprout. I've lined up 10 rows that I've lightly carved out with my fingers. One I already filled in. It's got scarlet kale in there. Rack, that's what's going in next. And I got Swiss chard, witty. Gonna get those going. Gold beets, touchstone. These are gonna be great. I have beets now, but they're Detroit red, I believe. And they got the red leaves. I want to get the gold leaves. And turnips, I'm doing more turnips for the greens. This is pretty much just a bunch of different greens. With this seed starting method, I can go ahead and get a fork and just grab the starts out of there and transplant them that way, so I don't have any waste of using the planting cells or anything like that. I mean, I do have the plant tags, which if you know what you're planting, you don't really need a tag, or you can make a tag out of anything if you really needed to. That way you don't have to buy tags. But I know just buying cells for planting can be expensive, and it's a resource that you have to over and over and over again keep buying. If you can get away with it, come up with new methods. I have to share this, so you know it's true, right, when you start to see the wikis. So, and this is ironic as well that just a few days after our boy Brandon got up and was really talking about this, now we get the wiki. A bunch of different citrus going. I'm gonna get a bunch of different tropical fruit trees going in here in the grow room, and then in the greenhouse, once that pit is dug and done, I'm gonna try to get a few different things. We'll see how it goes. Even through this winter, I'm gonna try to keep it warm with the heat around a good 50, 60, who knows what it'll be when I get a compost pile in there, and that adds that thermal mass. I was just thinking too, grapes. I haven't thought much about grapes, and I want grapes. I was thinking that I could build some kind of trellis to hang overhead of me wherever I decide to put them, whether it's in the greenhouse and or outside too. I want to have this like walk underneath grapes draped above me in just the most beautiful way. I got a new hose sprayer. It's made out of gold and silver. I got these lights. Not really, I wish. I got these lights. This one here is a double wide. That's a single wide. I got a cannabis under here right now. They are in their veg stage. So I got two others in here in this grow room that are underneath this one light, which is a single wide as well. And these ones are already in budding light, which is 12 and 12. This is 20 and 4. I'm taking that big light, I'm bringing it in here, and I'm using this table to start my seeds for the season, to get a bunch of seed starts going here real soon. And I'm probably going to have to get another table even, because I'm going to do a ton of seeds. So I'll get these two plants out of here and put them in here with the two single wide lights. Single wide is like a trailer park. And I will go ahead and put all 4 of them in here underneath the 2 single wides. And then the double wide will go ahead and give me my seed starts. Spring crops are going to be potatoes, sweet corns. I'm going to do some onion sets. I got a ton of those. My garlics are out there coming up kind of now. They're still kind of there from last season, but they're looking really green and healthy. And spinach and lettuce, beets, radishes, peas, bush beans, beans, pole beans, cucumbers, and that'll be a lot of things for the spring. Really big focus is getting those potatoes going and the beans, and then when it's warm enough, peppers and tomatoes, and winter squash. And I got a watermelon variety I really want to do, and to get trees all over everywhere I can this year. So I got trees coming up. I got the apple trees, and I'm gonna try to get some other trees. There's a Russian red pomegranate that will survive cold hardy temperatures in my grow zone 6A. I was looking at it last night, and I gotta order the trees. And you can even grow pomegranates indoors too, and a lot of other fruits and things. So I'm really adventuring into fruits now with the trees. I got lemons coming up down there, apple trees all coming up, but other things too. So the pomegranate is going to be a big one, and I want to have oranges. And with the pit out there that I'm digging, I'm hoping that I can keep it warm enough all year long that I can get fruit trees growing in there. I'm going to dig that pit deep enough so it will fit a few good fruit trees, at least down like the center where it can get the most height. And then the walls of the pit, like the berm, I'm going to grow food all up on the berm. It'll be like a whole nother bed just on the berms of this greenhouse alone. Doing some cleaning, front yard, but figured I'd show. The front yard beds, I'm ripping them all up, throwing anything that's in there, tossing it yard waste, trash, and I'm gonna put food here. In the front is these wild raspberries. I picked these from the wilderness last season and I put them in there. Up here I got 2 compost piles that are doing their thing. In the back is where I'm putting the pit, and I'm gonna put a compost pile in there. So that's what I'm hoping is gonna keep it warm all through the winter. I built this gate out of pallets, and it's shut right now. I usually just hop it because it's easier than me opening it and sliding it out the way, but the utility's there and it works good. And I got organizing and cleaning to do. That's why you see my little mess up here. My chicken's back here. Check this out though. Under the deck chicken coop, it's got my eggs already ready for me. I'm gonna put maybe a few more hens in there. See if I can't get them to fill both baskets. Just rained. I'm gonna update you on the pond progress and the greenhouse progress. So the pond here, you can see I've been cutting. What I'm thinking too is I'm gonna put a tap. I'm gonna be able to tap into it. I'm gonna customize it so that there's a spigot and I can run. I'll make like maybe even like some kind of filter, like fencing material or mesh, you might say, to stop dirt or anything going through the spigot line, or the plumbing into that feeds the spigot. And then the spigot I'll tap into with a hose if I ever need to water everything. And the pond line is going to go in here once I dig this out a bit more, and then waterfall back there, and over top over there in that back section is going to be a duck house when I get to building it. Over here is the greenhouse getting dug. So I've broken quite a bit of ground on both of these, and I'm maybe halfway through it. I got to get out here another day, another 2 days, and then I'll be building frames and laying plastic.